Hey, welcome back guys, and today we're going to be talking about how you guys should be building your Peira and also how you should be using her. Now, if you guys decided to pull for her, you guys are probably wondering what stats and what set you're looking for on Peira, so we're going to be talking all about that in this video. If you guys are curious about whether you guys should be pulling for this unit, make sure you check out my Peira should you pull video. As you guys can see on your screen here, she is running for a couple more days until the 29th of June. Now here's my Peira guys. We're going to be talking about what stats you want to go for, what sets you want to go for, what skills you need to actually enhance all the way, and what artifacts you want to also use. We're also talking about what areas of content you actually want to use her in. So first off, she is a PvP exclusive unit. You're only going to really use her in aggressive team compositions. She's very good at cleaving, and she's also very good at taking the first turn because her base speed is super high. Now for her set guys, I highly recommend running speed set. I don't think there's any other option for the force set. You pretty much have to run this set because she kind of has to take the first turn, or she kind of just rolls over and gets killed. And for the secondary set guys, you can run a broken set, or if you have the luxury of having two good effectiveness pieces, you want to run her on that effectiveness set because as you can see, my Peira is on pretty high effectiveness because she has a lot of debuffs. Now for her stats guys, like I said, because she does want to take the first turn, you are going to want to actually have as high of speed as possible on her because you want to actually get your S2 off at the start of battle to remove buffs and inflict unbuffable and also restrict, and also put up that attack buff to your team while also having that mitigation from that stealth escort barrier combo, which is super powerful. Having enough effectiveness to land these debuffs from your S2 is very important. Also, having enough effectiveness to land the stun from your S1 is very important as well, because at +4 scale enhance, you actually have a 65% chance to stun, which is pretty insane considering how fast Peira can cycle her turns. If you actually soul burn this for only 10 souls, you can guarantee the stun as well unless you get effect resisted or 15%ed. So for her stats guys, the only things you really need is speed and effectiveness. I would highly prioritize speed over the effectiveness. Having more speed is better than more effectiveness. But for a baseline guys, I would recommend at the very least about 280 speed on your Peira. If you can't go higher than 280, it is fine, just go as fast as you can. And for effectiveness, you want at least 100% to get past those 100% effect resist soul weavers and knights. Now for the other stats, it's really up to you. You can have more into speed or more into effectiveness, how you want to use her. But I like to have some bulk as well. So you're going to see that the majority of my substats are going to be going into speed here, but if I do have some modification gems, I'll be gemming out for either HP or defense. Basically guys, just try to have her as fast as possible. You don't need to have her too tanky because this barrier is super thick from her S3, especially if you max this out. So just make sure she is super fast with a decent amount of effectiveness like I said, and the rest after that can go into bulk. But honestly, all the bulk you should be getting is from your necklace, from the HP percent, and just residual substats that you have left over from your other pieces. So these are the pieces that I'm using. You can see I have some 20 plus speed pieces. I can actually make my Peira go higher than 310 actually, but I have some other pieces on some other openers like Conquer, Ilias, and Lua, so you're not going to really see me putting my best of the best speed gear on her because she's not super meta, but she's still a very strong unit nonetheless. Now for skills guys, you want to max out her S3 for sure. You want that thick barrier so that she doesn't die, because she does have that escort buff so that she is going to be soaking damage like an Aureus artifact would. So you want to make sure that barrier you get on her is very thick. Her S2, all you need is the turn cooldown. This doesn't really do that much damage. Peira is not really a damage dealing unit guys, she's just a support unit that will attack buff your team with your S3 and also mitigate damage while also applying some debuffs. And getting to her S1, she can also stun lock with this. You want this at +4 because this will give you the max percent chance to stun. 15% damage not really needed unless you like to use Peira like all the time. But for the most part, you're just looking for the utility skill enhances, so effect chance and turn cooldown and the barrier strength as well are very good. For her artifact guys, there's going to be pretty much two choices here. You can use the one I'm using, Rihanna and Luciella. I like this one especially if you want to use her on Guild Wars defense teams, because if this procs on defense, you can cheese wins very easily with the stuns and the very fast reset on your S2 and S3. Otherwise, you want to use Goblet of Oath. It's going to be a little bit more consistent in World Arena, especially if you like to play her in a more control style, in a more bruiser aggressive fashion rather than a full-on cleave. This will be better because you can actually get multiple S2s and S3s off this way. Whereas if you're playing a fast cleave style with like Rihanna and Luciella, there's a lot more RNG involved. And if you don't get lucky, sometimes you only get like one S2 and S3 combo off, which is going to be very hard to actually take advantage of her kit if you're running her into a more slower bruiser comp and using her more as an opener. That being said, her role on your team is mostly going to be the first turn unit like I said, because of her S2 being able to put that restricting and also unable to be buffed, this will prevent like Vigor going up from Conquerlius on her team. Also, this will stop any CR pushing from the enemy side as well, which is very good, especially like APOC Ravis will get very annoyed from this restrict because you can not only just restrict them, but you can also stun lock them with the S1, and putting up this escort buff will actually make it so a lot of units that can usually one-shot other squishy units cannot actually one-shot them because escort and barrier are super annoying. And if you don't have a good way to dispel this off of Peira or a way to lock her down or outspeed her, she can get this up very quickly because you'll see that there's only one turn downtime where she'll have this down and she'll have this on cooldown. So if she actually gets it up again, it's going to be very difficult, which is why Goblet of Oath is very good on her, like I mentioned before, to reset that cooldown faster. But that's a lot of talking, guys. Let's actually test her out into a cleave comp so you guys can actually see how she does. So basically, we're going to be fighting against another speedy defense here. As you guys can see, there's an Assassin Sid with Briar Witch and double immortality, and also an A Tywin to try to cleanse. So the game plan here is to try to outspeed the Assassin Sid with my speed imprint from Vildred. If you guys do not have a speed imprint from Vildred, you can always use like Sid, or you can use like Wanderer's Silk, or you can use even Watcher Shuri. But basically, my Peira will go first. Her S2 will activate Summertime Asteria's S2, and then I'll have souls from Spectre Tenebria, and she can always clean up later on with the Vildred. So basically, this should be a free win because of the fact that I should guarantee the first turn with this. If your Peira is fast enough and you outspeed, you'll pretty much win like most battles unless they have the perfect team comp against you. Also, her Unbuffable will actually make it so that this Kayron can actually not get the immortality, which is very nice. Even though the Assassin Sid might be able to cut my Summertime Asteria here, I can just stun him like this, and basically my Summertime Asteria will be able to take her turn, and I'll probably do something like this here just because I do want the team to get stunned here on the right side. Now basically this will allow my Villager to one-shot the Assassin Sid here and have my Spectre Tenebria also kill the Ambitious Tywin right after, most likely. But they do all get stunned here. It looks like my Villager will just clean up, but yeah, Vildred very good with cleaving because he's such a good cleaving unit with the cleanup, and also because he supplies that speed imprint. And Peira is just, as you can see, a very good opener. She can deny one unit at least from getting that immortality buff. She should have also landed the unbuffable on the Briar Witch Asteria, so she didn't get this immortality buff, but I think she 15%ed it, which is pretty unlucky, but you know, it is what it is. 15% is a part of the game, and that is a weakness of Peira, right? She doesn't have ignore effect resist like some other openers might have, but still a very strong unit nonetheless, especially as you saw with that Soulburn S1. I can actually stop the enemy opener even though she doesn't have a CR push by herself. Now here we have her against a more standard defense team. You're going to see more defense teams run just like 4 pretty much tanky or bruiser units. Now I'm going to run her with an attack buffer, a damage dealer, Inspector Tenebria, who is free to play if you get her from Moonlight Blessing, and Sharon to actually, you know, put some injuries on the enemy side and kind of slow down their damage. Should be a pretty easy win just because I should guarantee the first turn here because they don't really have a speed contester. And in that case, Peira will just run laps on the enemy team, as you will see here, as long as, you know, I don't proc too many counters from either APOC Ravi or from the Ameru here. So I'm going to actually put this barrier on with the stealth, and whatever unit gets hit by APOC Ravi's S3 should be able to tank it pretty easily now. It's not going to really do that much damage, and then I should be able to land some debuffs here with my Sharoon right after. So I'm just going to put this up. It's going to be double attack buff, which is kind of weird, but I do want this immunity buff for the defense break from the Icarina. So you don't actually have to bring an attack buffer like I did with the Peira. I just kind of want to have an immunity buff as well, and I guess maybe I could have brought a different unit, but this should be fine, should work. But you're gonna see, hopefully I don't get unlucky here and lose my stealth or my barrier and stuff. I do lose my escort, which is not the end of the world actually, and I will try to go for the stun on the Icarina here because I don't want my Meteor Cowrick dying here. I want to get that shield up first. She does resist it because she is on ER like most Icarinas are on, but it is fine. I did try, but I'll be able to clean her up next turn. And this unbuffable is just super good, as you can see here, because yeah, it just blocks the entire FCC, what's it called? The skill null here, except for one unit, I guess. But we should be good to go now. I'm going to actually attack down this unit. And we are going to actually put a Venom on this so that, you know, she does less damage. And I can actually go for the stun on this as well, so she can't actually counter. And I do get RNL proc, so you're going to see why this can get pretty absurd pretty fast. I can even like guarantee the stun on this if I wanted. So you can see why this unit can be pretty toxic to play against if you do proc your RNL like I just did, especially if you have Soul saved up, because you can just kind of like do this and she just takes another turn here. Can I get the triple stun? Ooh, that would have been... Oh, I got another RNL proc. So yeah, as you guys can see, this unit gets pretty crazy, pretty fast, and you're gonna see that, you know, in these scenarios, like Peira just takes over the game, and in RTA, a lot of people would just rage quit here. But yeah, very, very, very cool unit. Like, I don't really know what this guy can even do now. I'm just gonna keep spamming soul burns, I guess. Honestly, I should probably save these for Peira, but I kind of want to land these Venoms on the APOC Ravi to kind of guarantee the win. I think it would have been wiser to actually stun this unit here, but it is fine. I think I'll be able to actually get another soul Peira turn off, most likely, because I'll get the speed down from Sharon. But yeah, you can see Peira is like pretty obnoxious. Unlucky counter here. Hopefully it doesn't proc. It doesn't. Okay, so cool. Now I just land this really quickly, get that immunity up, and then I will get back to stun locking some units here. Yeah, you can see, you know, just having the fast cycling. Shurun goes down here, but she did her job. She put a lot of pressure onto the APOC Ravi here. She should just die the next turn from S10A. Another counter. This shouldn't do that much damage because she has attack down. Even though she procs this, it should be okay. And once my S10A takes a turn here, I should be able to kill off pretty much like 2 units here. So hopefully this stuns actually. Does not. I'm kind of playing with fire with the counter attacks here. But yeah, this is going to be pretty painful, but I do have immunity up, so it shouldn't be that bad, which is kind of also the reason why I wanted the Meteor Cowrick, in case this does happen. He does get to his turn to his S3 on his Amaro. And now, just to make sure, I'll just stun here. And then we'll just, you know, keep hitting this guy, and game's pretty much over, right? So, yeah. As you can see, Peira, pretty ridiculous, especially if you get some RNL procs with the artifact I'm using. If you don't have that artifact, though, she's still fine. As you can see, like, she cycled super, super quickly, so she actually got a lot of turns off with her S1 to kind of stun. I did kind of get unlucky, actually, because I didn't get really many stuns off, and I did lose my barrier very quick. But you're going to see, you know, now I'm just going to wait for my S10A's turn so I don't get unlucky with the counter here. I might just lap here, to be honest. I do, but I think she should kill. Oh, I just get a stunning kill. Oh, I do kill. So yeah, pretty much it for the Peira. You know, how you want to build her in player. She's pretty strong. She does get countered by a lot of units, like I guess like Edward Elric, and it really depends on the situation a lot of the times, and if she gets outsped, obviously, and like DJ Bassar is pretty good against her. Anything with barrier inversion will one-shot her, so you have to be careful, but overall, pretty fun unit and pretty fun to use.